Hey everyone, welcome to week 4 and what a week it's been. I've got 2 major talking points plus I'll show you how I got on when I visited Craven Cottage. First things first, handshakes, or a lack thereof. For those who aren't aware, before every Premier League match the FA instructs teams to perform a handshake as a way of promoting sportsmanship on and off the field. It doesn't work. The reason I'm bringing this up today is because at the weekend there was a match between QPR and Chelsea. Now, that match should be enticing in itself, but unfortunately, this whole match was overshadowed by a will they won't they handshake drama. There is context to this, but it's complicated. But suffice it to say that Chelsea's John Terry and QPR's Anton Ferdinand aren't best pals. And what it boiled down to was that Ferdinand refused to shake John Terry's outstretched hand. His reasons for refusing a handshake are kind of beside the point here. It's more about the handshake act itself. The pre-match handshake is a really nice idea. I appreciate that, and I applaud the sentiment of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. When you've got the media worrying more about a handshake than the match itself, and the players are using it as a way to try and make a point, it becomes a bit of a farce. It's a real shame, but it's got to go. Secondly, I can't let this week go by without making a brief mention of Hillsborough. In 1989, 96 Liverpool supporters died in a crush at the Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield. Back then, the police blamed the fans themselves for the disaster, and ever since then, the families of those who passed away have been fighting for justice and to clear their loved ones' names. This week, an independent panel have announced the results of their investigation, which completely clear the fans of any wrongdoing and suggest the main reasons for the disaster were a lack of police control and the lack of safety in the Hillsborough Stadium. I was born not long after Hillsborough, so I'll never really appreciate or understand the true sense of tragedy that day held. What's actually been kind of wonderful in my eyes is the way that in the wake of this news, all team rivalry and partisanship has just been swept away. This is a Liverpool tragedy, but it was also a footballing tragedy, and the respect shown by fans all over the country has been a real credit to a group of people who are usually just decried as hooligans and louts. And as Liverpool and Sunderland walked out onto the field at the weekend, and the signs were held high all over the place in support of those who lost their lives, I felt really proud to be a fan. And I really hope that this justice continues for them. And finally, on Saturday I took my trip to Craven Cottage, and I meant to get a load of footage of me going there and the journey and all of that, but then some brainiac decided to close the district lines, so in the kerfuffle that ensued and me trying to get to the stadium, I didn't manage to film anything. I did, though, manage to capture footage of this guy who was skiing on the road. Amazing. The stadium itself was great. I was in the Putney end, which is where home and away fans are allowed to mix, and that's the only stadium in the country that's allowed to do that. It's got special dispensation from the FA, and the atmosphere, as a result, was amazing. And it was great to be there as well. On one side you had the gently flowing Thames, and on the other side you had the historic pavilion. It was just a great stadium, and I'd love to go again. Although £2.60 for a Coke, you must be kidding. Fulham won the match 3-0. I was actually buying my ridiculously expensive Coke when the first goal went in, so I missed it. Typical. But I did manage to capture the second. All right. In fairness, it was a penalty, so I was given a little bit of warning. Fulham played well, and West Brom had some moments as well. Unfortunately, the scoreline was assured in the second half when West Brom had Odemwingie sent off for a ridiculous challenge. But the day out was fantastic, and like I said, I'd love to go to Fulham again. That's it from me. The match I think you should look out for this weekend is absolutely Liverpool versus Manchester United. 2 old rivals meeting up for the first time this season after what has been an historic week for Liverpool Football Club. It should be a real treat. Don't forget to sign up for the GB Posters Fantasy Football League, a link for which will be in the description. A league, incidentally, in which I had both Carlos Tevez and Robin van Persie on my team this week, and still failed to get a goal. How? Until next time, I'm Daniel J. Layton, vlogging for gbposters.com. Bye for now. I'm not allowed in, but just there, that's Michael Jackson's actually. The back of his head looks more like him from the back than the front, gotta be honest. But yeah, who knew he was such a Fulham fan, as my friend just said. Not even him, apparently.